Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight to hear more about this fantastic project. My name is Laura and I'm the Senior Communications and Engagement Advisor for Development Victoria, working across the 8 regional sports infrastructure projects which we are delivering in partnership with Sport and Recreation Victoria. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional owners of the lands I am dialing in from today. I would also like to acknowledge the Gunai Kurnai people as traditional owners of the country on which this project is being delivered, and to recognise their continuing cultural heritage and connection to land and waters. I would like to pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I'm going to start by giving you all a little bit of a rundown of the session we are running for you this evening. In a second, I will take you through our engagement guidelines for this session. I will then introduce you to our project team before I hand over to them to give you a bit more of an overview of our project. Okay, so these are our engagement guidelines, which are all fairly simple for anyone who has dialed into a session like this before. We will be recording the session and we will upload it to our website for anyone who has been unable to attend. The purpose of this session is to share information with you all regarding the Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park upgrades, and we'll be hearing more from the project team on this shortly. We've turned off the chat functionality for this session, but we will have a Q&A option, which is turned on if you have any questions. We won't be answering these questions tonight, but we will compile any questions along with our responses in an FAQ document, which will be uploaded to our website. Anyone who has registered to attend tonight's session will have the opportunity to access these FAQ documents once we've let the user groups know once they've been uploaded to the website. For further information on the upgrades and how to get in touch, please visit the GSEP project page on the Development Victoria website. This will give you contact information as well as a range of resources, including the recording from tonight and the FAQ document once it's been prepared. And now I'm going to introduce you to the project team. So the people you will be hearing from tonight are Matt Hayden, who is a Senior Project Manager at Development Victoria, working on the upgrades at Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park. Chris Pallett is a Project Manager at Development Victoria as well, and he's also working on this project. You'll hear a little bit more from him later. And Josh Wilson is the Acting Executive Manager of Sports Legacy and Activation at Latrobe City Council. I'm now going to hand you over to Matt to give you some background on the Regional Sports Infrastructure Program.
Thanks, Laura. So as Laura just mentioned at the outset, Development Victoria are involved in the delivery of several projects as part of the $550 million package that comprises the Regional Sports Infrastructure Program. This includes new and upgraded sporting facilities throughout Geelong, Gippsland, Bendigo and Ballarat, all with the objective to contribute to improve social outcomes and enhance community participation and livability. Just for some background and context, the Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park is one of these projects, which is part of the Regional Sports Infrastructure Program, and also includes the following projects that Development Victoria are also involved in the delivery of. In Ballarat, this relates to a suite of upgrades that are being delivered to the Eureka Stadium, as well as the broader Ballarat Major Events Precinct. In Bendigo, the Showgrounds and Bendigo Stadium are both set to receive upgrades. In Geelong, DV are involved in the delivery of major upgrades to the Stead Park hockey venue in Corio, a new indoor sports centre to be built in Armstrong Creek, and in Warm Ponds, the project will include a new indoor sporting complex. Also in Gippsland, Development Victoria are also managing the improvements to the Morwell Gun Club, as well as the Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park. I'll now throw over to Josh just to touch on project delivery.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome to you all. Thanks for taking the time out of your night to join us briefly for this information session. As you'd be aware, the Gippsland Sports Entertainment Park upgrades are being delivered by Development Victoria, as Matt sort of touched on, and that's in partnership with the state government through Sport and Recreation Victoria and obviously the Latrobe City Council. Council, as the owner of the land and the assets on the site, have engaged a project reference group to ensure key stakeholder representatives are involved in the development of the project. The PRG has been meeting regularly with these representatives, so representatives from Falcons 2000, GUFC, Latrobe Valley Soccer League, and the referees, as well as some ward councillors that are on the panel, and some internal council officers as well from the recreation arms of the organisation. So the PRG allows project updates to be shared with those representatives, as well as comments and feedback on designs that have been developed to date, and we'll continue to meet and progress detailed design throughout the process. Obviously, upon completion, council will remain the owner of the asset, and the new facilities will provide a great opportunity for council and the users to attract a range of different events, whether that's sporting, for football, or entertainment. I'll hand you back to Matt.
Thanks, Josh. So Development Victoria is really excited to have been engaged by Sport and Recreation Victoria to deliver these upgrades to the Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park. As many of you will be familiar with the site and understand the significance in the region, we're just here to confirm that we're intending to deliver leisure and recreation facilities that leaves a lasting legacy in the Gippsland region. We're anticipating that the project will deliver positive social, environmental, and economic benefits to Morwell and the Latrobe region more broadly. And this is done through the utilisation of local materials and planting, and engaging local subcontractors and suppliers where possible. The redevelopment will also see consultation with the traditional owners, which will be demonstrated in the inclusion of design elements reflecting the Gunai Kurnai culture. As touched on at the outset, Development Victoria and Sport and Recreation Victoria have been working closely with Latrobe City Council to ensure that the requirements of the facilities are met and the objectives achieved throughout the development of the design. So this project, as well as the broader regional sports infrastructure program, seeks to achieve the following key objectives. That's being improving the health of regional communities, improving the capacity of local councils or venue operators to hold more events, provide a positive impact on the local economy, and responding to the need to plan, build, and operate regional community sport and active recreation infrastructure. Okay, so now a bit more specific to the Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park project. Towards the end of 2024, a design team was engaged to develop the designs for the project. These designs effectively formed part of the tender documentation that was issued for the head contractor's request for proposal, which is now substantially progressed, with the appointment of a head contractor anticipated to occur shortly. At a high level, the project scope includes demolition of the existing structures, a new main pavilion, which is to be the centerpiece of the new development, including player and officials change facilities designed to a National Premier League standard, a new social space and kitchen, canteens, bar, and spectator viewing platform with fixed seating, a new change pod with community standard change rooms and amenities, also including a servery, first aid room, and storage. A new main turf soccer pitch constructed to comply with the elite level specification. An additional turf pitch constructed primarily for training and juniors matches. A new elite synthetic pitch. And also all ancillary works, including car parking and landscaping throughout the site. So as you can see, the graphic on the screen depicts the proposed site layout and the relationships between these key design elements. The new pavilion sits central to the site, with the grandstand seating facing towards the east, which overlooks the new main elite turf pitch. A new series of pedestrian pathways creates opportunity for easy movement between the site that will be accessible for all users. The pedestrians pathways create an avenue for movement and activation across both the north-south as well as the east-west axis. The East-West Avenue will also feature services infrastructure to facilitate the temporary use of food trucks and the like. To the east, the main turf pitch will be constructed to the elite level standard as per the Football Victoria guidelines for natural turf pitches. And just adjacent to that main pitch will be an additional turf pitch constructed to accommodate training and juniors matches. Just south of that training pitch will be a new synthetic pitch, which will sit parallel to the existing synthetic pitch. And then between those new pitches sits the change pod. This is located so that it can primarily service the users of the pitches towards the southeast of the site without the need to travel back up to the centre of the site where the main pavilion is located. The remainder of the scope then includes new sealed car parking and the inclusion of formalised overflow car parking, as well as landscaping throughout the site. So as I've touched on, the new pavilion is truly the centrepiece of this redevelopment. The new pavilion will feature 2 levels, with the ground floor being primarily dedicated to players and officials amenities, which includes 4 player change rooms, both of which can be opened up and combined into 2 large change rooms during match day. The ground floor will also feature a trophy memorabilia cabinet at the lobby entrance, as well as graphics treatments to the walls and players' races, which recognises the history of the clubs and the site. As the designs continue to be developed, these design elements will be further refined. A canteen and bar is also located at the ground floor with sightlines to the pitches maintained. Level 1 then features a concourse for accessing the tiered seating. It also features a large social room, commercial kitchen and bar, as well as ancillary rooms for media and broadcasting. The external facade is proposed to be a rammed earth material with the intention to source local earth from the Gippsland region, which is then compressed and reinforced into the material. This is a sustainable design feature and really contributes to the sense of the connection to place by using local materiality that is a reference to the earth on which the pavilion is situated. The external colour scheme, as proposed, is a reference to the naturally occurring tones in the soil on the site, which was discovered during the on-site geotech investigations. The other key feature of the external form is the roof structure, which has been designed to include a thin fascia and appear like the roof is floating above the mass of the solid pavilion. The cantilevered roof structure provides an efficient and architecturally considered design, and also provides the functionality of weather protection, as a substantial portion of the seats are covered by that roof structure. I'll now throw over to Chris, who will touch on local jobs first.
Thanks, Matt. So local jobs first is a key component of this project, and we want to provide a positive impact on the Latrobe Valley and the region's economy. We support any of the local or regional businesses and workers to ensure that they are given a full and fair opportunity to compete for the opportunities this construction project will provide. If there are any suppliers that are interested in this opportunity, they can register with the Industry Capability Network for opportunities to supply goods and services to this project. You can utilise the QR code on the screen to direct you to the Latrobe Projects page, where you can sign up and register onto the Industry Capability Network gateway. All of the information from this then gets sent through to us, and we can then pass this on to the builder once we've got someone appointed. Planning and feedback. So we are currently engaging with the Department of Transport and Planning for planning approval for this project. We are seeking consideration for the project to have the planning pathway of a state project under clause 53.22, which is titled the Significant Economic Development. It's important to note as well that whilst this is a state government pathway, it still does take into account many of the usual planning requirements as other pathways. Currently, we have a draft planning application submitted with the Department of Transport and Planning, and we're still on track to obtain approval in this quarter. In terms of feedback for this planning, we held a community information session at the site of Gippsland Sports and Entertainment Park on the 22nd of March, as well as a survey was live on the Engage Victoria website to obtain feedback from the public. If you have any further comments or questions about these upgrades post this webinar, it will be managed by the project reference group's stakeholder representatives and the clubs moving forward. Project timelines, just in terms of timelines, we have completed the schematic design phase prior to the head contractor tender being released, which evaluation of that tender is now nearing completion. So we're anticipating at the moment that successful contractor will be appointed in the next few weeks. And once that builder is engaged, we are looking to commence site establishment, demolition and construction works relatively quickly, with the work scheduled to be completed by the end of 2026. Once completed, it's handed back over to Latrobe City Council, and we certainly look forward to seeing the park back into full operation for the community, with plenty of football and the various different events held at the park as well. That's all from me. I think back over to you, Laura.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Matt, and thank you, Josh. So that's brought us to the end of the official presentation for you this evening. As mentioned, we've turned off the chat functionality for this session, but we encourage you to use the Q&A button at the top of your screen, which will allow you to ask any questions that you might have for the project team. As mentioned earlier, we won't be answering these questions tonight, but we will compile any questions along with our responses in an FAQ document, which will be uploaded to our website and also to the Engage Victoria website. User groups will be notified when this document has been published. For further information on the upgrades and how to get in touch, you can also visit the GSEP page of the Development Victoria website. This will give you contact information for our team and will feature all of the resources that we've mentioned tonight.